This is Alice Cooper, and this is The Haunting of KGGO.com, a KGGO.com exclusive.
Hello again, friends, and welcome to another fine edition of The Haunting of KGGO.com. My name is B-sox. I'm your host during this little adventure into the world of the paranormal, and as we celebrate the month of October, joining me in studio for another edition of The Haunting of KGGO.com, which you can find at KGGO.com/haunting. Big breath. Friends, welcome in the folks from Riverside, Iowa Paranormal. Bill, Michelle, and Kelly.
What's up?
Hey.
Hi, you jumped the gun there, buddy.
I'm sorry. I'm always too soon.
It doesn't help with the conversations we've been having so far tonight. But welcome.
Couldn't wait 30 seconds. No, I couldn't.
Welcome to the Haunting of KGGO.com, guys. Thank you so much for making the trip up here from Riverside, Iowa. Why do you hate James T. Kirk?
Why do I hate
Michelle?
him?
Why do you hate? What's wrong with Captain Kirk?
Have you really met the guy?
What's wrong with Captain Kirk?
He's not been born yet.
Okay, so for those of you playing along at home, when I originally called Michelle, I said something about, home of James T. Kirk, and she was like, oh, or something to that effect, and I was
Pretty
like,
much.
oh, it's a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Well, you know, she starts off in Star Trek, not Star Wars.
No, I know, but she would.
I was a Star Wars
Yes,
fan.
she was a Star Wars fan. Doesn't like Star Trek. Anyways, let's talk about the paranormal, guys. Thank you so much again.
That I can do.
So Michelle in the middle.
Yes.
We have Kelly on the end here.
Yes.
And then
I hope I'm Bill. Please let it be.
as we get into the month of October, we bring you guys in different paranormal groups from around the state to talk about ghosts, goblins, and everything in between. And let's start here. Let's talk about how you guys kind of got into the paranormal. We'll start with you, Michelle. Did what?
No.
Nothing. Okay.
Okay, so like everybody's story starts, well, it was like long time ago.
It was a long time ago in a
Yes,
land far away.
In the world.
Actually, I've been around the paranormal all my life.
Okay.
I actually was, I have abilities, and I had them as a child.
What
but didn't.
abilities?
I can read
Wall
your
crawling?
mind. I'm a fairy. Shh. Don't tell people.
Okay.
But I was always around it, but didn't understand it.
Please don't read my mind right now.
God. So anyways.
That's always the worry with when people say that. They're like, I can read minds, or, I can feel things
I
or
can't
something.
read minds.
And then you're like, don't think about that time in high school.
Oh,
Don't think about that time in high
no.
school.
Please, no, don't.
But,
And I pooped myself. So anyways, okay, so you have abilities. You've been around the paranormal for a very long time.
But when I had the imaginary friend, it was, that's not true. Don't, do it. And so I kind of closed everything up.
Okay.
And anyway.
I was just trying to tell her to get a little closer to the mic.
And then it just kind of, I've always had that fascination because I see dead people.
Do you really see things?
I really see things.
Okay, because I brought this up with the guys from Moth. When you see something with these abilities, what is it like to see? Like, if you were going to describe, and I know it's hard, but like, is it just like, hey, it looks kind of like a human? Is it transparent? Is it fuzzy? Does it look just like a person? What does it look like?
Well, let me explain how I see them.
Oh, God, here we go.
Here it goes. No, actually, a lot of your mediums and psychics and stuff, when they see them, or anybody that sees an apparition, will see the see-through or the beautiful dress or however they would see them. I see dead people totally different.
Okay.
I see them in the state they actually have died.
Oh, that's
so like
awesome.
when someone says, I see a little boy, and this little boy, he's so cute, he's wearing these little pants and these and shirt. I see that little boy with, if he had gotten beaten to death, I see that.
Awesome.
So I see the darker side of things. So everybody goes, there's beautiful children here and there's beautiful this. And I'm going, no, that's not real. No.
Okay, so you've had this forever. Essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's it kind of like? And I want to get to Bill and Kelly's stories as well. But what's it like, kind of growing up with that? Do you see this everywhere you go? There's something.
Now I am able to work through it and block it.
Okay.
But as a child, it was like walking through a nightmare.
Okay.
Do you remember the movie Freddy
Sixth Sense?
Krueger?
Okay.
Where
I was
you
thinking
never
Sixth
knew
Sense.
if you were awake or sleeping.
Okay.
So that kind of thing. But now it's a little easier. Every once in a while, if somebody is trying to come through really strong, then I start blurting out things, and because I'm also a trance medium, so that means...
Don't know what that means.
That means I can talk for them.
Okay.
And if I don't guard myself, there'll be times where, like when you're at a prison, things come out of your mouth that probably shouldn't in the dark.
Okay, so they essentially take the wheel for a minute.
For a minute.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Kelly, how about you? We're saving Bill for last. Because then we'll be like, oh, we're out of time.
Hey, thanks for coming. Thanks for playing along. Check us out.
Deep throat.
Jesus, I didn't know I'm going to have to bleep this.
No, you're good. Actually, since I was a child, I used to hear voices, and I would, if I was somewhere, I say, okay, something's got to happen, but I don't know when, and the next time I go by it, it's happened.
Okay.
It had like a house. I
Like
knew
a
the
deja
house.
vu type thing?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But my abilities now is I'm a sensitive healer, and I'm a Reiki master.
I've heard Reiki. Remind me what it is again.
Reiki is where when someone's laying down, or if they're standing up, however way, is I take my energy and put it into them to take out the bad energy that they have.
Is that the, and I can't think of what it is, but the laying of hands and that sort of thing?
Touch healing.
Touch healing. Okay, yeah.
Sometimes I touch them, but other times I don't. I just have it close to them because there are parts that I don't want to touch. So... But
so dirty.
People
are going to be like, this folks from Riverside. My goodness.
But for me, for the sensitive part of it is I feel the spirits or entities, whatever you want to call them, I feel when they are sad,
Okay.
when they cry, when they're angry, because I will do that.
Okay.
And when they get to the angry part, that is when it starts getting really bad. And then that's when Michelle has to say, Kelly, let's go.
Or have a Snickers.
But hey.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I have to keep myself pretty much closed a little bit so that doesn't happen. And also I have to make sure I don't get jumped too.
Okay.
They will jump me and then they take over and then start talking like she said.
See, that would be a great thing in a marriage because you could just let it go sometime and then be like, oh, some spirit took over or something.
Ooh, can I use that excuse?
No.
Dang.
We know each other too well.
Dang.
Bill, how did you get into this mess?
Well, I used to have an imaginary friend.
Okay.
But he played with the kid across the street because he didn't like me. So, but I don't have any... I don't have any. I honestly look at it in the beginning. So I spent 26 years DJing, and then retired from DJing, and then got brought into it with my lovely wife and paranormal wife.
Kelly is your actual.
Kelly is my actual wife.
Okay, she's wife number one.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's number one.
She's the one you answer to.
Yes.
Yeah, unless they're all yelling at me, then yeah. So I kind of got brought in on the technical side.
Okay.
To make sure see what the sound is. Can we build this? What do we have to pull things off? Okay. Then it turned into can I build things? Making equipment that we might be able to detect a spirit with.
Okay.
So I'm in the process of building several things.
Can I give you an idea for something?
Yes.
Real quick.
Go for it.
I've always wanted to daisy chain a bunch of K2 meters together with a computer and put them in a room and like see if you can start plotting out where energy goes?
Actually, Michelle was able to pull that off without it hooking them together.
Really?
With a pyramid down at the end, with a Y-shaped pyramid.
Yeah.
And we were at Nopaming Sanatorium in Duluth, Minnesota.
Wow.
And she actually told them, because Duluth, Minnesota, the Nopaming was a tuberculosis sanatorium, and then it turned into a mental health facility. And she actually told them, hey, if you guys light up all the way down to the end down there, I'll give you another pudding. And they went 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 to 1.
That's cool.
So,
you know what I just thought of? How cool would it be to fill up a room with K2s? Just lay them on the floor.
Yeah.
And K2 meter, for those of you playing along with it basically picks up energy. That's kind of the layman's.
Got pretty lights.
Yes, it's got lights. It'll go like this, and then
and everybody in the paranormal field uses them wrong. So
how are you supposed to use them?
You'll see most people. I'm going to use this water bottle. You'll see people point them out, and it'll have the lights on the top.
Yeah.
This reads down.
Okay.
This reads out in front of you. The actual bar is on the back. If you ever notice, there's a lip on the back side.
Yeah.
They say if you hook that on your finger, the K2 meter was actually built to measure electromagnetic frequency in people's homes and businesses to see how dangerous it was.
Oh,
That's
okay.
exactly what they were built for.
All right.
Well, then TAPS brought it in, using it as in the paranormal, and it does work. We've had some really weird things, but everybody holds them like this, and I look at them and go, so you're hoping that they're right in front of you? If you do this, you're going to know whether they're in front of you.
Okay.
So,
And
all right.
phones will set them off.
yeah, your phone.
Yeah, phone, laptops, yeah.
And believe it or not, if you get 10 or more close of the K2 meters close together, they'll set each other off.
Okay, I can see that.
So.
I can see that. This is the haunting of KGGO.com, a KGGO.com exclusive. My name is B-sox. I'm joined by Michelle, Kelly, and Bill. They're from Riverside Iowa Paranormal. You can find out more about them at riversideiowa.paranormal.org. Did either of you guys think that this was over all of a sudden?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I did one time, and they told me after, they're like, I thought it was over. It's like,
No, you got to throw the plugs in every now and then.
all right, so the technical side, superpowers, right?
I agree.
How did Riverside Iowa Paranormal come around? What brought you guys together? What kind of what's going on over there?
Oh,
Do
I
need
back
to
out.
separate you kids?
I back out at that question all the time because I got pulled into it, and these guys were already doing it. So.
And
We were already doing it.
okay,
And we needed a ride. So we called Bill, and
Perfect.
he's got this cool minivan that puts all the equipment
Great,
in
thanks.
and takes us all around the United States.
perfect.
And that's how we got together.
Where did Riverside Iowa Paranormal start, or when did it start? How and why and when and what
We've
kind
been
of
doing it more than 12 years, but
Okay.
we never actually had a name. We were just doing it and helping people.
Okay.
And then in 2017, we decided, let's give it a name.
Okay.
And we all live around Riverside, Iowa. So we used it so this way we can use RIP because we're that intelligent. We want to make it look good.
Everybody in the world of ghosts have like the acronym or something. Like
And,
you have to have a name.
We didn't really try though. That's the thing.
Well,
we
that's
really
good.
wanted to have a nice flow and want to make sure that people knew it was part of Iowa.
Yeah, okay.
Because we do the whole Midwest.
Yep.
But a big chunk of it, we do a lot of private calls.
Okay.
So since we do all that, we wanted to make sure people knew Iowa makes sense, then they're here in this area. But all our calls keep coming from like California, where else? New York, things like
England.
that, England. And I'm just like, Iowa.
I'm going
Iowa.
to
You can't see me, can you?
I'm going to have you turn that mic just a hair. Sorry,
That away?
everybody. A little technical thing. Yep. Keep going. Keep going.
Do you just
Hey,
want me
there
to
we go,
sit up
there we go.
here?
Can she stand on the counter? Maybe she can be tall
Yes,
enough.
we can.
Quit
Okay,
making fun of
so
the fairies.
Is that a thing? Like
Fairies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, why wouldn't there be fairies?
I don't know.
You have dangerous garden gnomes because they hurt you. Haven't you watched the shows? And the fairies.
See. I've heard of brownies. I've heard of. Now, of course, now I can't think of.
We
the
got
name.
Bigfoot. We have UFOs.
Think
Crawler.
Bigfoot's a UFO or a fairy?
You can have. You
A
know
fae?
what?
I actually think Bigfoot.
A failing?
No,
Bigfoot, I think, is an alien.
I think he's an alien too. If you
Pops
honestly,
in and out of dimensions.
yeah, think of it that way.
No, honestly.
No one can see him, and there's no evidence around him. But then when they do catch him, he's gone just like that.
So he's a
jumping,
predator.
He's
Yes,
yes,
a
he is.
predator.
He's transdimensional jumping as he needs to.
Predator.
You sure didn't know you were getting into this, did you?
No, it's awesome. I just,
But if you think about it,
it's like herding cats, and I'm having a blast. So, going back to what you guys do, what are the cases that you guys kind of focus on? Is it going to private residences? Is it going to the quote unquote famous places? Is it what is it that you guys are out to do, and what's kind of your thing?
Our thing is actually doing privates. And the reason being is because everybody is out trying to do all the big famous places, there are a lot of families that are in need and that do need help. One thing that we do, and there is a lot of groups like us out there that do private sector, we do not charge for our service.
That's one of the things that I've heard more than once is if someone is charging you to come to their house
Don't do it.
to do the paranormal stuff, don't do it.
No.
It's a scam.
Oh, definitely.
And the other one, it's like, well, I'm certified.
okay, I got a question. They say they're certified and they're professionals. We're not professionals because if we were professionals, you'd be able to go to school for it.
Yeah.
You can't go to school
There's
for this.
no tech school for the paranormal.
Thank you very
right?
Well,
much.
no, because the paranormal, it's one of those, you're always learning something new. I
Yeah.
mean, look at all the new equipment that keeps coming out because everybody's trying to trap and catch a ghost.
But then there's a lot of people who don't believe in the paranormal either.
But I will say that it is more mainstream than it has been in.
Well, it's changed in the last 40 years. It has changed dramatically. You had people that were, because if you go back and you look at the history of the Ouija boards and everything else starting back, it was quiet and private and it was done for fun.
Yeah.
And then no one ever reported, hey, we did a Ouija board over at John and Judy's house and we came back home and now I felt like something poked me in the middle of the back while I was sleeping and I sleep alone. So they didn't want to report that because they didn't want to be known as being crazy.
Exactly.
So
And
over the past 15 years, it's actually become more of a mainstay in public, and it's coming out more, and people aren't afraid to go, I need help.
Yeah.
There's something wrong.
It doesn't have the stigma it had years ago, and before the big ghost shows started coming out. Even before that, I mean, if they did a paranormal show, it was tongue in cheek. It was like, oh, ha ha ha, look at this lights in the sky.
Yes.
Only crazy people believe in that stuff. And then you get some of these shows that make it a little bit more mainstream. They make it a little bit more, for lack of a better word, cool. And now you have groups on every corner. Oh yeah, I'm a ghost hunter. We go do this and.
See, we're not ghost hunters. We are actually paranormal researchers.
Okay.
So there,
You have a card about that or degree?
Well, no, but
So
we do.
self-proclaimed, huh?
That's right.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. We do the research.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting out in a tree stand trying to hunt a ghost. So
Can you imagine?
can you? So
What would you shoot them with?
imaginary bullets.
I feel like I've stumbled into some kind of inside joke that's been
Not
going on
really.
for a while.
No, not
But
till we
that's
get to what we're
why-
going to sell.
Okay.
No, but I mean that's just kind of or a paranormal investigator, because if you do the paranormal, you got to remember you get so much time just to do the investigation.
Yeah.
But almost 90% of it is doing the research of why would it be there. So using that term ghost hunter, it just doesn't seem to match. If you have real teams out there that do it like we do.
So there's a big difference between ghost hunting and paranormal investigations.
Well, there's a big difference between being a disc jockey and a radio personality. But
True.
I live in a world where everybody thinks of me as a DJ. It's like I haven't touched a CD in years.
Yeah.
So, but going back to how you guys do it. So, do you guys go in just to investigate? Because I always liken it to when I call a plumber, I want the plumber to come and fix the problem. I want the plumber to come make the pipe stop leaking, and I feel like there's a lot of groups out there that they come out to your house. You've got a leaky pipe. Awesome. What are you going to do about it? See ya. What do you guys do the repair work,
Yes.
for lack of better term?
What we do is we actually have an intake coordinator who actually starts the conversation and
Okay.
does a full intake on the phone. Gets everything that we need to know. Then we actually go out to meet with the family,
Okay.
make sure everything they've got and we've got all the details so we can actually put together how we're going to investigate And then if we're going to be cleansing or if we need to bring in, either their pastor or priest or whatever. And so we do it in different steps. So they know that we'll be there 2-3 times. It's not we're going to come and investigate because we have to go over all of the evidence.
Yeah.
The evidence. And then we go and sit down and decide what we need to do. But we have different chapters that actually we're actually a huge team.
Okay.
So.
All right. So, and if anybody is listening to this right now and they need help or they just want some answers or maybe they just want to start the conversation, is the website probably the best place to get a hold of you guys? That or Facebook?
If you want it to be confidential and stuff, you can private message us on Facebook, or you can actually get on our website. There is a section where you can fill it out to get help, and then we'll reach out to you and we'll start that conversation.
And everything we do is 100% confidential. We treat it as just like the HIPAA laws. You give me information, it stays with us. We're not going to share it with anybody. We may have to share parts of it. We're never going to give you personal information, but share parts of it with other groups that we rely on literally around the world to kind of help take a look at some. What do you think about this? We're not quite sure. So we do reach out for help. Again, we don't know it all. And somebody out there is going to know a little bit of a piece that we can start putting a puzzle together for someone.
All right. Going down the line, Bill, Michelle, and Kelly, all from Riverside, Iowa Paranormal, joining me on the haunting of KGGO.com. For all this information, we'll have it all at the bottom of the page, but riversideiowa.paranormal.org, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. All right. So let's get into some of the haunting stuff. Now, since you guys deal with more private areas and all that, I don't want to ask you, hey, what's the scariest place you ever been to or something like that. But I am curious. I'm always curious about not so much the scary moments, but the moments that stick out to you that, wow, I don't know what just happened, but that is crazy.
Well, before we jump into that real quick.
Who's running this interview?
I want to clarify something. We do 99% of what we do is homes. But to hone our skills a little bit more, we will go out to some of the big locations, Missouri State Penitentiary, Edinburgh Manor, the Farrar School, to keep up with other
Farrar,
things.
there's one.
Actually, we've been to Farrar.
2.
Yeah.
Quite a few times.
I almost said it like 90 times.
But we have been around.
Okay, all right.
We've done it in Louisiana and everywhere else.
All right, then in your entire spectrum, because Bill so politely corrected me on all this.
I just wanted
This way they'll understand our answers, because they'll be like, oh, that makes no sense. Yeah.
Bill, go wait out in the hallway.
I don't want to play.
You got time out. All right, so what is the memorable experience for you? What's the one that, no matter where it was or what happened, whether it was scary or if it was just creepy or if it was just odd or maybe it was funny?
I know which one you're thinking about, and it all falls in line with every one of the things he just said.
Let's hear it.
Go for it.
Edinburgh Manor.
Okay, I've heard of Edinburgh. It's over in eastern Iowa.
It's over by
Edinburgh. I have no
on the
idea.
other side.
Anamosa.
Okay.
So down in the basement of Edinburgh Manor. Now, we were actually doing an event for another company. We're helping them. We were the tour guide.
And just pause. Edinburgh is a former, just the history of it. It's kind of a...
Edinburgh started out as a poor farm, which turned into a mental institution. And I hate to say that because that's where people, back in the late 40s, 50s, and 60s, people would actually bring, if you had a person who wasn't considered normal, whether they had a stutter, they had whatever, they would bring them there in the middle of the night from other states, drop them, and never come back. Their families would never come back. Well, then it turned into an old folks home, and then it was shut down.
Okay. So it's been around. It's seen history. And
Yes.
And it's a place. I haven't personally been there yet, but everybody that tells me about it it's a place with bad history.
Yes.
Okay, so take us to the basement.
So in the basement on the west end, you've got the dining room. All the way down a long hallway, you've got the laundry room.
Okay.
Michelle and I were walking with a group of people, and this is all Michelle's fault, by the way. Michelle and I were walking with a group of people, we used to start off by giving a tour, showing where you couldn't go and you could go.
Yeah.
We got down there, and I'm walking backwards down the hallway, facing the group of people, pointing in rooms.
Yeah.
Michelle is with the group of people, and Michelle looks at me and said, What did you say, Michelle?
Hey, Bill, there's a man standing there by you. There's a man standing by you. You might want to take a look at him.
When somebody says, hey, there's someone
don't
standing there,
look.
what do? You look.
Yeah.
That was the first time I have ever flashed a flashlight into an open doorway, had to look up to see the person's face, threw the flashlight down the hallway, and I went down to one knee and was shaking so bad I couldn't breathe.
Really?
The only way I can describe this guy, have you ever seen the movie Phantasm?
It's been a while.
The Undertaker who ran,
yeah.
That's exactly what this guy looked like, but I'm 6'2". He was taller than the door frame.
Okay.
And he just went straight into my
Will
face.
Conkle was there.
He's taller than Will.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And white and the long hair and the sunk-in cheeks scared the living crank out of me. The weirdest part about it was when I looked back at Michelle in the group, there was 20, 25 people in the group. They were all pushed up against the wall, and everybody that was there said they felt like something came and pushed them apart down the hallway. So,
what's going on at Edinburgh, do you think? And listen, I know that's probably a big question, but just kind of the short, what do you think's going on there? Just a lot of bad history built up over time?
I think bad history too, but a lot of people don't understand when we're going to these places, different types of groups going in. Everybody's bringing more energy or different things in with them too. So we're adding to what's already there.
Okay.
So there are things at a lot of these places that weren't originally from there.
Okay.
And so that's why there's times when I go in going, yeah, you don't belong here. Where'd you come from? And people look at me strange, but it makes sense because then I started thinking back, well, these places are open. All these people want to do paranormal investigations.
Yeah.
So they're bringing all their energy or whatever baggage they might have with them, and it's getting dropped off.
So you get a lot of people that come in. I've had a really crappy week.
Yeah.
I hope tonight is good, and they bring that crappiness with them.
Well, that or they do the thing, which I always think is dumb, where they antagonize ghosts.
Yeah,
or spirits or paranormal
Believe it or
entities.
not, I think these guys will agree with me. We get more activity out of having a group of people sit around laughing and having fun, putting off a positive energy.
Yeah, it's amazing what a little laughter will do to a room. But how about you, Michelle? What was that your moment that it's like, or is there something else?
I have a lot of aha moments or scary moments because sometimes they get like right up in my face and I will, kind of jump back or say a lot of bad words. But I think that moment was one of those moments that everyone was able to see and feel what I did, what I can see and feel. And I think that was like, see, guys, I'm telling you, it's true. But the force, when he said pinned against the wall, I mean, the force literally split the seas.
Really?
And people dropped things. And we had some people actually leave and didn't finish the event.
They're like, oh, okay, I'm out of here.
But that was kind of that moment for me because it was something that everyone was involved in.
Okay, all right. Kelly, you got anything?
Yeah, it's at Edinburgh, and I was up on the top floor, and I had a group of people with me, and I was standing there talking.
I'm just checking cameras, that's all.
I was just standing there talking, then all of a sudden we heard this big bang alongside of the wall outside, and then the floor shifted.
Shifted?
Yes. Everybody in there felt it. On each floor, even down in the basement, they felt it was like the whole building shifted.
Now, devil's advocate, could it have been legitimately the building shifting?
Well, we actually thought the building got hit by a car.
Yeah.
It's like somebody ran into it. So a bunch of us ran outside looking to make sure nobody's, dead. Lack of better terms.
And there was nobody there.
No damage, no nothing.
Nothing.
All right. Well, I mean, I always, whenever I go to these types of things, and I'm not saying what I do is better than anybody else, but my thing is always, okay, what legitimately else could this be? Because I always think of the aliens guy, where it's like, it has to be aliens, right? And so with a building like Edinburgh, when I hear that, it's like, okay, could it literally have been the building just sinking or being old and doing that? So wow. So it shook the whole building, huh?
Yeah. Everybody in the building could feel it, and we all got together and says, "Did you feel that?" It's just like the whole building shook, and it was just.
At that point, are you just like, you know what? Maybe it is time to go home.
Oh no, we had 4 more hours.
Oh,
yeah, because this was what, like at 2:00 in the morning, I think it was when that happened.
Has there ever been a place that you guys are like, you know what? Let's bag it. Let's get out of here. This is just a little
Sallie House.
Mm-hmm.
Sallie House. Where's this at?
Atchison, Kansas.
Okay. I've vaguely heard about it. I don't know the story.
It gave me one heck of a headache.
A headache.
Yeah. That's because a brick hit me in the head.
A brick? Come on. You're lying.
You guys
to me.
tell it. Go ahead.
He's not lying. So the Sallie
Did one of you
House-
throw a brick at poor Bill?
No. So we put Bill in the hole. So literally there's a hole in the wall.
Okay.
And we asked him to go in there. And there was actually other people. So these are some of the events that we have done. So we have other people with us. It's not just us. And he was sitting there and everybody's watching with flashlights and stuff. And it was like a piece of a brick. And it hit him in the head.
Wow.
Some other guys went in there. The one guy goes, "Oh, I'm going to be able to do all this." And he sat in there. Next thing you know, he comes running out after he gets out of the hole.
Okay.
And he had scratches so deep from his head, top part of his head, all the way down his back that some of it had blood. The Sallie House plays on your emotions more than anything.
Okay.
And everybody believes this little girl, Sallie, is still there. Whatever they would like to believe.
So she's not there. What is there?
It's
If you had to put a word to it, what would you put?
a hag.
A hag.
So to me, she looks like a hag. She looks like the old creepy witches with, the stringy gray hair falling in their faces.
Yeah.
Not like the pointed nose and the warts, but just that look.
Yeah.
Portrays herself as a child to get people to want to play with her and then kind of invite her and have her, and then she starts playing on your emotions.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and we had these two guys, they actually won fantasy football. And so they went out and bought ghost hunting equipment.
That's how you spend your fantasy football treasure.
But it was an amazing story because
they spent a lot of money.
They spent a lot of money, and they're both coming in with their cases, and the wives are like, "Go have a good time." This was an overnight stay, and the one guy's playing, and I kept asking him, "Where's your buddy?" "Well, I don't know." And I was like, "Everybody should be staying in twos in this place." "Well, I don't know." Next thing we know, this guy comes storming out of the house, goes to the end of the backyard. And we told this guy, "Hey, you need to really go and check on your buddy."
Okay.
And the guy finally came in and says, "Something's got me." He goes, "I was up in the closet for the longest time, and I came down because I was supposed to kill each and every one of you." And we just all sat there like, it's time to
What's
close
a beer?
the door. But he ended up going, he was really angry. Then he started crying. And he ended up having to call his wife and stuff like that. It affected him so bad, and it got into his head that bad that we actually did prayers over him to help him because
Really?
he said he was, religious. So we did that. But
Could
we
that
caught
be-
great evidence too on that.
What was the best piece of evidence from that night?
Well, because it was kept being a little girl asking him to play with her.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. In a case like that, when someone's being that affected by it, could it be that maybe they do have some kind of ability that they don't know about? That it's maybe that's what's affecting them more, or is it just a personality thing? Is it an openness thing?
Well, how far do you want to go with that question?
Well, a lot of people go in. So when you're doing these group hunts, that's one thing you have to be really careful with is everybody wants to catch that evidence.
Yeah.
And people open themselves up without realizing because I want something to touch me. I want this to happen. Well, as you're doing that, you're actually opening yourself.
Yeah.
And when it happens, you can't end up controlling it.
It's always careful what you wish for.
Yes. And so when you do events, everybody's excited. "Oh, my God, we're going to do an event. Yeah, we're going to find us some ghosts." I mean, we had one lovely lady. She came in with this crystal grid. "I am going to trap me a ghost." And we're just like, this will be really nice. She was in the same basement as him in Edinburgh. And next thing I know, we had her in the hallways dark. This little lady
Blindfolded in the hallway.
ran up the stairs, was shaking because this big black mass that he sent got right in her face and almost got her. And she goes, "I don't want to catch any more ghosts."
I've had my fill. But I mean, I guess I understand because like when I go into, kind of a haunted location, and going back to the whole Star Trek thing, I always think shields up.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why nothing ever happens around me, but
Well, the internal joke between us is every time we go there with a group of people, everybody wants to see something or hear something or feel something, but nobody wants to see anything, hear anything, or feel anything that they're going to remember.
Yeah. I get that. I always think it's like everybody wants something haunted to happen until it happens, and then that's when you go running out of the building screaming. So, Riverside Iowa Paranormal joining me for the haunting of KGGO.com. Bill, Michelle, and Kelly all in studio. So when you get to some of these more memorable cases and stuff, you know what? I'm going to change that. Do you have the funny one? You were talking about the laughter stuff. What's the funny moment?
They look at me again.
No, I do.
Well,
Dopamine.
No, there's one even funnier than that. One of our funniest ones, and I think it's funny because of what happened at the very end of it was Edinburgh Manor again. We just had a group of people. We took them all through and we put them on free time. They can go wherever they want the rest of the night. They're staying overnight in the building. They get to sleep there, whatever they want to do. So we're sitting in I guess what they call it, the day room on the first floor, kind of relaxing and trying to warm up because somebody scheduled it in February in Iowa 2 years ago and it was colder than, yeah. And we hear a blood-curdling scream from the basement. You could hear somebody run across the basement, up the steps, missed a door that was leading right out the building, slammed into it, run up another set of steps, down the hallway and out the front door. And we all kind of looked at each other like, I guess we should go out there and make sure she's okay and not dead or something. We go out there. She's on a bench. In the very front of the building, there's a big, huge bench way out in the yard. She's on the bench rocking back and forth, and she's moaning, I'm going, okay, she's not bleeding. She doesn't look like she's hurting anyway. Are you okay? I got touched. It's a ghost hunt. What more do you want out of the deal? She goes, I got touched. It's like, oh, you got groped right down the front of my pants.
Oh, really?
And
at Edinburgh.
At Edinburgh, and she's sitting there. She's talking about a very, she's giving details, and she's sitting there, and there's this group of ladies that's coming up behind her, going, and they literally leaned over and went, "Honey, where were you standing?" She told them. They all turned around and walked back in. And
no, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
No way.
But that actually happened at MSP too.
Oh, that boy.
Down to a boy, and we were down in the dungeon, and we put them all in the dark. And I was like, "Hey guys, let me know if you're getting touched or anything, because you literally can't see anything.
By the way,
flashlights or nothing."
By the way, MSP is the Missouri State Penitentiary.
Okay.
And the kid yells, "I'm getting touched," and I'm like, "Oh, that's so nice. Oh, that's awesome. Pumping up. It's great." "No, I'm getting touched." And I'm like, "Man, you're really getting all this action." He goes, "No, I am really getting touched." He goes, "It is grabbing me, and it's really hard, and it won't let me go." The kid was pale, ran out, and could not go back to the dungeon the rest of the night.
Really?
And I'm
so
just
it
like,
was down there.
It grabbed it hard. He felt like it was going to get ripped off. And I'm just like, here I'm going, way to
Welcome
go.
to marriage,
It's
buddy.
awesome, So things like that do happen to people.
And what's funny about it is you never hear that story on the different shows and all that. You know? You never... You never hear about the group of ladies that want to go back downstairs. Be like,
it's hilarious.
Well, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
But my question, you said group of ladies. What's up with bachelorette parties? We have more bachelorette parties coming to these events than any other parties.
They're wanting to get groped for the last time.
Is it? I mean, I don't know.
It's the new thing.
Yeah.
It really is. Bachelorette parties, big birthday parties. They want to do this kind of stuff.
Now, I mean, with that in mind, do they kind of realize what they're kind of opening themselves up to? Because,
Marriage?
Like if you go down the road of, hey, I'm going to open myself up to, get felt up by, some spirit. I mean, to me, that seems like you're opening yourself up pretty wide to a lot of bad things down the road, right? Okay. I just want to make sure
No, and we always tell them, too. And we try to tell them what to do before they leave. Whether they listen or not, I'm not sure.
Okay.
So...
I really didn't think this was going to go this direction, but I'm kind of it's awesome.
The truth. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's one of those things you don't hear about this stuff very often.
Nobody tells you.
Guess we shouldn't tell them about the YMCA, huh?
What's the rating of this show?
What about the one at Nopaming? Those guys came in. They had just gone to a haunted house, so they thought, okay, let's go here. They thought it was a haunted house.
Yeah.
After we started taking them around, they go, "This is real. This isn't fake."
So they had been to like haunted house to haunted house to haunted house all day long, going
Okay, I get
boo,
it.
scary, boo.
Yeah.
And then they show up and they're in the sanatorium, and they're like, "Oh, this is going to be one of these," and all of a sudden they're like, nobody's jumping out because people are just jumping out.
Yeah.
So, and they got the crap scared out of them.
Yeah, one of them
hyperventilated and puked.
One of them I had
and
to take out because it literally made him sick. And when he went outside, he was literally getting sick. And then I had to go find him and stuff.
And where was this again?
Nopamine in Duluth, Minnesota.
Okay, I got a buddy that lives up in Duluth. I'll have to ask him about this.
Yeah.
Going back, what's one of your guys' favorite places to go? What's a place that you look forward to going to, and what's a place that you go because it's good for the evidence, but you don't like going?
Well, you threw that last piece in there.
All right, you got one that you like going to?
There's one that we've only been to that I'm going to speak for me, that we've only been to once.
Okay.
And we spent an entire week. Oh, well, how many days were we there? Gettysburg.
Oh.
I watched the one movie, one of your guys' YouTube videos.
Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Oh, my. If you get a chance to go there, go down to the Devil's Den at night and just sit on one of the rocks and listen. You will hear the battles happening.
Really?
Oh, the musket fires, the screaming, the people screaming because they've been shot or they're dying. It's just amazing. If you can quiet down all the other sounds in that area, you will hear that. It's an amazing place.
That's a place my dad and I have always talked about that we'd like to go to do that stuff because one, the history, two, you're probably going to get. He's got a great story. I'll tell you afterwards because this isn't more about you guys. Okay, what's a place for you, Bill, that you don't like going? Is there such a place?
Quite honestly, I don't think there's a place that we've been to yet that I probably wouldn't go back. As a team, there's a few places we won't go back to, but no.
Okay.
Honestly, no.
How about you guys? Any places that stick out for either the good side of things or the bad side of things? That maybe it's a little too mentally, it's too mentally tough to go there for you. Maybe it's something like that.
My favorite place, well, I have two. I'm going to have to say both of them.
Okay.
Myrtle's Plantation in Louisiana, which was just amazing.
Which Louisiana, just on a whole, you go to that place and there's a different energy to that place.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't it feel like when you're going through it, it's like somebody moved the curtain and then you're just going in somewhere that's
kind of a little bit, yeah. It's just
Silent Hill.
it's just a little bit different of a place, and not in a bad way. It's just you go there and it's like I'm on a different planet right now.
Yeah.
In a good way. I don't need the
No, and it's amazing. The energy is a lot different.
Okay, so the
and
plantation
then,
down there.
The McIntyre Villa in Atchison, Kansas. This is like a mansion.
Okay.
But it has so many different levels inside. And you're always catching something. There is so much evidence there that you spend more time trying to figure out what you're going to keep and what you're not.
Okay.
And it's got indoor plumbing.
Oh,
I like
that's
it.
always
It's
And
kind of
heat.
a plus. And heat.
And electricity.
Yep, and you can sleep on the beds.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if you ever look up Atchison, the McIntyre, you look at, everybody always wants to go into the old broken down buildings, the ceiling's caving in, there's holes in the floor. This place is beautiful. They've restored it.
Okay.
It's an actual, I guess the easiest way to say it, a living museum. You could live in there. They'll just sit on the furniture, play with the bed. Just don't move any of the furniture around. That's all they ever ask. It's beautiful inside there.
So this is the haunting of KGGO.com, a KGGO.com exclusive. Riverside Iowa Paranormal from Riverside, Iowa. Bill, Michelle, and Kelly joining me right now. You can find out more about them at their website, riversideiowa.paranormal.org. We'll have all the links to Facebook and all that at the bottom of the page. As we start getting towards the end of this, what's next for you guys? Because you talked about, there being a big group of you guys, the different private places you've gone, the bigger, estates and penitentiaries and all that kind of stuff. What's on the horizon for you guys?
You guys start.
Oh wow, I don't know.
And if that and the live stream stuff, you guys, that we should probably talk about that too.
Okay.
Well, for me, I think it's to keep helping all these people that need help.
Okay.
Trying to make sure that whatever is in there is out, so they can have a peace of mind and live without being in fear all the time.
Okay.
So
Michelle?
Well, because we are now also part of the Warren Legacy Foundation for Paranormal Research.
What is that?
Ed and Lorraine Warren, their grandson Chris has.
Why do I know that name?
Lorraine Warren?
Annabelle Bedall.
Yeah, okay, there it is. There it is.
Okay.
I was like, I know that name for some
So
reason.
they
I cannot
had
place
their
it.
foundation.
Okay.
Their grandson is continuing with the Warren Legacy Foundation, and we actually work with paranormal groups from around the world.
Okay.
And so what we do is, if people are calling in, we're getting them from all over the place. So we actually have different chapters of Riverside Iowa Paranormal. We have a team in Indiana, Minnesota, Kansas City, and Iowa, right? Yep. Then we have sister teams that we count on over in like Tennessee, Arkansas that help us too, because we do get a lot of calls in. We also do a lot of calls for the Warren Legacy too.
Okay.
What's next? Next is whatever that phone call brings.
Yeah.
Because that's the easiest way to say it. We never know what's going to be on the other end of that line. It may be somebody who just really needs to talk, and we'll talk to them. Okay. It may be somebody who's got, and that we hear the one word where we jump all over. It's children involved. When children are involved, you're an adult, you can get up and walk out. Children are involved; they're not quite sure what's going on. So we have to do something to help out.
Children ghost stories are just the craziest, and we've got a few with our 4-year-old that it's like, okay, I don't know what's happening here.
When you get a child that sits there and the parent calls up and goes, "Hey, my kid's seeing things." Well, how old's your kid? 5 or 4? Well, what did she say? Well, I asked her who she was talking to. She was talking to Grandpa. Well, instead of saying, "No, you didn't even know Grandpa before he died," she went, "Well, what's he wearing? He's wearing this, and he's got these color, and he always wears this color attire every time he comes to see me." And the lady said she had to swallow and goes, "Oh, okay, well, keep talking to him," and walked outside and started crying because that little girl who'd never met her grandpa because he was dead before she was born just described him to a T to her mom. So listen to your kids.
Doesn't mean they'll always keep it. Some kids will get it back. Some, it's a phase. So when they say they have an imaginary friend, I'd be listening.
We had, and the only one I'll tell you right now on air, 'cause like I said, this is more about you guys. We lost our cat back in January, just a big black cat named Kinnick. He was my best friend. And we had 2 cats, and to make a long story short, we came upstairs after he had passed one day, and my son Jace, he comes up and he looks over in the corner where Wrigley is, our other cat, and he goes, "Hi, Kinnick. Hi, Wrigley," and just went around about his day. And I was like, "Jace, do you see Kinnick a lot?" "Yeah." It's like, okay. So it was just one of those things. It's like, "Come here, buddy." I miss my best friend. So, okay. So it's, helping people, it seems like. Helping and informing, I guess, might be a good way to say it.
Yes.
And a lot of our informing is debunking. Telling people, you heard bangs?
You know what? You just brought up, what's the stupidest thing you ever debunked? Like someone was like, "Hey, there is a spirit here. I'm convinced it is." And it turns out to be
orbs.
Orbs is one.
Yeah.
Dust your house, you won't have orbs.
Okay.
The other one is we had a gentleman who wanted us to come check out his house because his wife had just recently passed away, and they kept hearing a banging noise coming from the room that she really would do a lot of her arts and crafts in. Went to the basement and grabbed one of the pipes and went bang, bang, bang like that because it's connected to the outside of your house, and the bolt's broken off, so the wind blows by and it does it.
Okay. Any other good ones?
Demon smells that come out of sinks and bathtubs.
Oh, my God.
There's
Pour some
gotta be
water in them.
Little vinegar. Little bleach.
Or the traps that are in them that need to be cleaned out. It's kind of like, it's not a demon right now.
Real quick, what's the one thing you haven't been able to debunk that you're still not sure about? I know that's a kind of a tough question.
Tall guy standing and facing me in the basement at Edinburgh Manor.
Just can't wrap your head around it.
Not to this day. I still can't. I know what I saw. I know what I felt, and I know what I know what went through me. I know what the other people saw and we all talked about it afterwards, but I still can't wrap my head around it.
Okay.
It's hard for me to debunk things because if I'm seeing it, it's kind of like, well, it's there.
Okay.
You know, so
I gotcha.
It's like me. I mean, if I feel it, then I know it's there, because my whole body will start tingling, and
Okay.
that's how I know that it's there. Especially if her and I are standing together, she sees it, I feel it, and we're just like, oh crap.
And when we do our debunking, we go as far as I carry a carbon monoxide detector, a portable one on my hip. We'll look at where the person lives, how much radon's coming through the ground, what does their furnace look like, how old is it, we're going to go as far as we can, because we all know that those gases can cause hallucinations and other things. If there's none of that there, okay, it's your guys' now.
And then, but we ask really hard questions too. I mean, we ask, are they on medication and what types of medication? And that's where I'm saying the research comes in.
Yeah.
What is the medication doing? Because we're not just trying to help them in their safety, but we're also our safety too when we're going into these places.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up. If anybody has questions or whatever, best place to get a hold of you is at the website, like the
website or our Facebook page.
Riverside Iowa Paranormal.org, and we'll have all the links at the bottom of the page. Bill, Michelle, Kelly, thank you guys so much for coming in. It's been an absolute blast, and probably one of the more funny versions of this.
Hey, can I throw a plug in there real quick?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hey, join us every Saturday night. We have a live podcast.
Oh, that's right.
Every Saturday night. We do it on the Riverside Iowa Facebook page, which goes over to the Spirit Realm Network Facebook page. We'll soon be moving to the Spirit Realm Network, which you can look up online, thespiritrealmnetwork.com. We talk, it's from 8 to 9 every Saturday night. We do live location shots too. This weekend we are at the YMCA in Rock Island, Illinois.
Okay. Live.
We got a live. There's an event going on there. We're going to take our show there and do it with whoever walks in the door. We'll talk with them and see how they're doing things and what they're going to do.
Oh, maybe I should show up.
Hey, you show up.
Hey, here's
You
the
just
best
gotta
part.
hang.
No, just come on down. I mean, watch us each time. It's a call-in. We have a call-in line. We also
You
have
have a call-in line?
Yeah.
Yes,
we
do.
also have it. We have somebody watching the Facebook constantly and giving us questions and feedback from other people. We always say it's as much our show as it is the people on Facebook
You just
show.
set up my entire Saturday night now.
Well, come on.
Tell me about them ghosts that feel people up again.
Actually, if you do come to the YMCA, come on Friday or Saturday, and I will take you to the room that used to have the brothel. If you don't believe me, you will be a believer by the time you leave.
Awesome. Riverside Iowa Paranormal joining me on the haunting of KGGO.com. That's going to do it for us. Riverside Iowa Paranormal.org. Excuse me. The links will be at the bottom of the page. Bill, Michelle, Kelly, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.